Hello, Aaron. How are you doing?
Afternoon, Russ. Good, thanks. You, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've just got my new laptop. I'm just put it on charge now. I'm gonna set it all up. So I'm on this fucking old pony one. I've sent two back in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know you've had a few issues, haven't you?
In issues, it's a nightmare. Right, let's get stuck straight in here. Rhino's just gone live on Talksport. Have you seen it?
I've not, mate. No.
Yeah, he's gone in on Ben Whittaker saying he's not sure about him and all this, man. I mean, wow. Is he trying to cut his own throat with Eddie Hills? Hills, the Iceman.
Well, you know, I think they're putting up with it at the minute because Dave's still, a matchroom fighter, and they want to get him out in Sheffield. But if he carries on like this and he loses his next fight, I don't think he'll be hanging around for long at punditry, do you?
Well, I don't know really. Do they have pundits on, right? That are serial losers who don't train and they slob about with beards and hair stuck up all over the place, like where's old Gummidge and body warmer on, and I'm just a humble guy. I'm bloke next door that has pie and peas. I'm just normal bloke who has a bet at bucket. This humble normal stuff, it's becoming boring now, isn't it?
It's wearing as thin as Eddie's hairline, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, I mean, he looks dug up on here. I'm not sold on Ben Whittaker. To be fair, I'm not myself because if we remember when he signed with Adrian Mole at Boxer, right? Eddie were like, well, we didn't want him anyway. He had a vibe about him like David Price. That's why we didn't sign him and all that. And then once he ran out of steam against Liam Cameron. And let's be honest, he looked for a way out, didn't he? Technically, he quit, didn't he? Right.
Well, yeah, certainly looked that way to me, mate.
And in the rematch, obviously, he put Liam on planet Button Moon. Right. So, and everybody's forgot about that. Now Eddie's signed him. He's going to be a superstar. And his best thing since sliced bread is the new Michael Spinks. But if you look at what Tony the Bell End was saying when Liam Cameron drew with him and Spotty Frank and whatnot, Spotty Frank said that Boxer dropped the ball when they signed Ben Whittaker. Now is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly they could change their opinion, isn't it, these people? I mean, obviously they're going to build their own man up, aren't they? But when you've come out and slag somebody off like that, to then sign them and then try and, recreate them as this big hype job, it just wears a bit thin, doesn't it? We know better.
We certainly do. What did you think of his opponent, this Ben Whittaker? This opponent he's just beat at the weekend. I mean, it was hardly Michael Moore, were it, in his pomp?
He looked terrible, didn't he, before he got in ring? And his record doesn't suggest he were going to do anything. It was just a gimme job, wasn't it? Like, welcome to Matchroom, here's a knockover, and we'll hype you up because you'll get a first round knockout, no issue. I mean, he looked fantastic knocking him out, but it ran of a punch bag in there for him, weren't it?
Yeah, yeah. It, I know. He was there. He did what he had to do with him, didn't he? Basically, he couldn't do any more, Ben. But like I said, the hype around him, and then you've only got to throw Eddie Hills into the mix as well, and it's off the charts. It reminds me of when he had Devin Haney, and he was best thing since sliced bread, and the new Floyd Mayweather. Do you remember all that?
Yeah, now he's slating Devon, isn't he? Because he don't want Crusher going anywhere near him.
Yeah, now
Um,
he's saying that Devon's boring and it's not an exciting fight. What are you on about? You served us up Lee Purdy, Devon Alexander, Tony Bellew against Hay twice, and Tony Bellew and Cleverly on pay per view, and you give them 200 grand each. You took million. So don't talk to me about boxing, Eddie. You've been ripping fans off for years.
oh yeah, I mean, like yesterday, I gave you a list that were just off top of my head of boxers and fights that he's had in there, and some of these guys are absolutely dug up carcasses, dangerous. People like Jamie McDonald going in against Inoue, weight drained. We've had Liam Smith dug up more times than God knows what, and they're out there giving stick to fighters like Haney, who's a three-time world champion in tier, free weight world champion. It beggars belief, mate. It really does.
Yeah, it does. It's Listen, they've had some shockers on there on Sky over the years. Bean were in the thick of it, looking after all his friends, wasn't he? Bean and his friends. You know what I mean? He looked after everybody, didn't he? Bean at Matchroom, even got his centre gig on darts.
Yeah, that was shocking. Um,
Hey?
what the worst ones for me with Eddie were when they chucked Tommy Coyle in. With Campbell, it was just an absolute mismatch, and they did everything they could to get Coyle into that fight. He had a fight with Mike and Geffin just before that, and Geffin were on top of him, and he got pulled out under some suspicious circumstances around fifth round, claiming his eardrum had gone. But up until that point, you're absolutely levering Tommy Coyle. But they didn't want to lose that payday for him, did they, for Campbell?
I remember years ago, right? Years and years ago, when Eddie were first starting out, when Frotch were with him, and I went to watch a fight at Hull, and Derry Matthews were getting absolutely pummeled by
Hmm.
Tommy Coyle, and Tommy Coyle got absolutely poleaxed by Derry Matthews. Derry Matthews lowered the boom that night. Let me tell you, you could hear a pin drop, and he levelled Tommy. Absolute pin drop, mate.
Yeah, hell of a shot that as well, weren't it? Hell
Hell,
of a
Brook
shot.
fought Carson Jones on that show as well.
Yeah, but that the rematch with Carson Jones or the first fight,
I think it was the rematch. Yeah.
yeah, all right, the first one. I don't remember that being on. But yeah, I think like you say, the problem we've got now with them is they're hyping every fighter into the next big thing, and we can see they're not going to be. You know, Ben Whitaker's got a long way to go. I don't think they're going to put him in with anybody for 2 years now, and they're just going to keep him stagnated at a level, and they're going to wait for all the top men who are actually killers in the division to disperse one way or another.
Well, okay then. If Ben Whitaker's that good, right? Liam Cameron got beat by Ben Whitaker, and Lyndon Arthur beat Liam Cameron. Why don't they put Lyndon Arthur in with Ben Whitaker, and then we'll
Yeah,
know how good Ben Whitaker is. That'd be a good judge of a judge mark, and then we could put
well,
him in with Yard after that, and then Boazzi.
yeah. If you want to go that route with Boazzi, I don't see why not. There's Willie Hutchinson out there as well. We've got Ezra Taylor fight winner of that maybe. He's mouthed off in past. They've had a bit of beef, haven't they, him and Callum Simpson, and Simpson's claimed he might move up. I mean, why not do that?
Yeah.
There's loads out there for him, but we know we won't see that, will we? Not yet, anyway.
No, no, we won't. So, all right then. Well, we've wasted 8 minutes talking about Ben Whitaker, the man who quit, and the media didn't mention it to him. Not even Big Nose, who had an interview with him and tickled his arsehole. But yet, he was going to do this and going to do that when I get the Ben Whitaker interview. Well, look what happened. A bit like when he got the Turkey interview. But we'll move on from the adventures of Tintin. Let's talk about.
You've just dropped out, mate. You Russ. Russ,
Sorry,
your
can you
mic's
hear me?
dropped out. Yeah, go on, mate.
Can you hear me, mate?
I can now, mate. Yeah.
Let's talk about It's Big Freeze.
Yep.
Did he melt on the night? Yes or no?
Yeah. I was disappointed with Big Phrase. Really disappointed in his performance, mate. He just he just didn't look at races, did he?
No. No, he didn't, did he, mate? He didn't. I don't know what to say about him, mate, to be honest.
I just think he fought the wrong fight. He fought TKV's fight. He stood in pocket and traded. He did. He was like to me. I mean, TKV comes from a wrestling background, doesn't he? So
Yeah.
he's a strong man on inside, a very tough guy. He's solid. He's got great balance. I think he's a decent boxer for that level. I think I mentioned that before. You know, he's a better boxer than Fraser Clark. So he tried to mix it a little bit too much with him in close for me, and yeah, he got out toughed and he got well beaten, mate.
Yeah. What about Terry O'Connor?
What in the fight with the points?
What fight were he watching?
Well, less said about him, the better. We know what he's like. With the old Fury one with John McDermott back in the day. The controversy surrounding that.
What about Huey versus Parker?
Yeah, he ran there when he got hammered, didn't he, by Big John in ring that night?
Yeah, Big John. I had to back Big John on that. I'm not a Terry O'Connor fan, me. Not after the John McDermott one, because we know about that, don't we? And he got beat by John McDermott in 1977. And then he's refereeing. Stan McDermott beat Terry O'Connor, didn't he, in Jubilee year? And then some 30 year later, or whatever, 30 odd year later, he's referee in a fight between Stan McDermott's son and Tyson Fury. So, yeah, we know what happened that night, don't we? And why would he be allowed to referee that fight?
Well, we need to call him Terry the Elephant McDermott, because he never forgets, does he?
If Rocco Froch had a fight for English title over 10 rounds with a sole judge and referee, could that possibly be George Groves? Would George Groves pick for Rocco Froch, or would he pick for other guy? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
That's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, this is it, mate. And I mean, it's so interwoven as well with that ex-fighters being referees and matchmakers and promoters and things like that. I mean, they've all got their own little biases, haven't they, and whatnot over. That's why we see, I mean, ex-boxers on board, for instance, like Robert Smith, things like that. They're all going to pull one way or another, because they're all connected to certain gyms, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay. So Big Freeze, right, to me, comes across as a nice, jovial fella. Big, cuddly teddy bear, right? But personally, I think carrying too much timber, and he's not mobile, is he?
No, he's a big old unit, and he's 6'6", and is he around about 20 stone? For me, he's too heavy. Too heavy. He's carrying a bit of flab route midriff, which is only going to slow him down. It's not going to help his performance. At 18 stone, he'd be just as effective, if not more, and he'd probably punch harder, because he'd have a bit more snap in his shots. He'd be able to get his feet moving. Do you know what I mean? He just stood too still for me overnight. No leg work whatsoever.
Well, I'm gutted he lost, because I had him in my accumulator to win. I thought he were going to come out and go all road, man.
Yeah, I expected a demolition job similar to that Tete we've just seen, to be honest, because although TKV is not a bad operator at that level, I thought Fraser were above that, but he's not, is he? That's clear to see.
Right, what next for Big Freeze?
Well, there's probably one fight, isn't there, for him, I guess, and that's rematch with RHINO, but they're not going to do that, are they?
No. They beat RHINO, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think he'd still beat RHINO, mate, but he's going to have a few demons now, Fraser Clark, because he's had that really bad knockout to Wardley, and then he's had a stinker of a performance of a night. He really let himself down.
He just looked unfit to me, that's all. I'm not saying he can't fight or punch hard. Look, if you grow, you know yourself, if you read the Green Book from the British Boxing Board of Control that's given to all fighters when they turn pro, it tells you what your job is. Like a bellman or a manager, promoter, putman, trainer. Everybody knows their role. And the fighter's role is to stay fit all year round, even if you have not got a fight lined up, because this is your job. You are a professional. Right. And obviously, for me, I don't think Fraser Clark's fit. Now, we've got all these strength and condition men and nutrition men and all these experts in boxing that are in everybody's ear holes and up their arseholes. But yet we've got men walking around in ring like RHINO, Big Freeze, TKV, Dylan White, Chisora. And a lot of them are overweight, way overweight. And look at Usyk there, 6'3", 16 stone every fight.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to question his fitness. I think I'm not going to give him an excuse here, but he might have peaked too early, Fraser Clark, because he pulled the fight, didn't he? So he might have been ready to go, and that might have done him a bit mentally, because had he been through that situation where a fight's been delayed and he's had to wait and get back in camp, and I think he alluded to it on the little documentary piece I've watched on the BBC that it wound him up. that the fight had been postponed. So how much did that affect him?
Well, that's like a cop out, me. That's like when there's a 115, 113 scoreline and everybody's shot. That's like Gareth A. Davis, aka Mr. Swing Round, starts going on about, well, there were 3 or 4 swing rounds where they were hard to judge. Well, give them as a 10-10 then, you cock. That's all you
Yeah.
do. If you can't judge them, it says in the book, if you're a judge and you think that round's very close and you're struggling, you don't go with the home promoters guy. You go as a 10-10. But too many of them are going 10-9 with home promoter because they want to get back out there again. They want to get the
Well,
bird in bar. They want to get in an hotel. They want to get paid a few grand. They want to have a good night free gratis. Too many 10-9 rounds going on. Give it as a 10-10.
how many fights do you see first rounds where nothing happens and you can't give it one way or other, but they give it to own man?
10-9, exactly. That's what they do. It's because you've got these people on microphones going into bat for the mates who are related to that person or they're affiliated with that person or the mate's a promoter or doing somebody a favour. You see where I'm coming from? It's been going on far too long. These people with microphones have got exceptional power. Adam Smith, aka Super Bean, the man that beat cancer, Superman. Adam Smith had that power for years at Sky, and Matchroom realised it. We'll keep Adam Smith sweet here. Because if we give him a few tidbits, he'll start going off about, oh, there needs to be a rematch. And he'll go speak to top brass, Barney Francis and them at Sky and whoever it were back in the day. And that's how it works. It's like a cancer. It spreads. And so's gambling addiction. And that's why Bean got outed. He won't come out and say that, will he? He lost his job at Sky because he was a serious gambler. And you're vulnerable if you work in that position in sport. All right. Now, getting back to Big Freeze, whatever he does next, he needs to be £250 like Joshua. Get some flab off. Get a meat slicer on that back. Compare to that one Tyson Fury's been using. Right, TKV,
Oh,
what next for him?
well, this is another thing, mate. That's done me head in a little bit this morning. RHINO's coming out saying he's going to have a fight in February, and then he wants to get in with TKV. Now, why on earth? Why on earth is he in line for that? What's he done to be in line for that? David Adelai's still out there. What about that rematch with TKV? I'd rather see that. I don't understand why RHINO thinks he's in that position to fight for British, coming off a loss to Makhmudov and pretty much lost every round of that fight.
Well, if he comes back with an 8-rounder in Feb, he'll be about 20 stone, right? He'll say, well, I'll put a bit of weight on over Christmas, and it's not, it's just over and blah, blah, blah. He's slipping back into RHINO mode, slob mode. Wayne and Waynetta, the slobs. He's slipped back into slob mode. You know what my mate calls him? My mate calls him remember Eddie Yates on
Sorry, mate. Mike's gone quiet again.
You remember Eddie Yates on Coronation Street?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's what my mate calls RHINO. Eddie Yates. He's gone back into his Eddie Yates mode, and he? Do you know the slob? You know what I mean? If you get a gig on TalkSport, you turn up clean shaven, don't you, with a shirt on and look in the business. You don't turn up in a Pepe the Method hoodie, a pair of black trainers, and just sit there going, I'm cold and I've had enough and all this blah blah. Look,
Yeah.
Rhino's as cunning as a fox, right? If he gets beat against TKV, he'll reinvent himself. He'll come back saying he's doing it for his habit or something, and everybody will buy into it. He'll go on about habits for weeks and he'll have a catchphrase. Look, if he fights
Russ, the mic's just dipping in and out, mate. You're speaking.
that better.
No.
Can you?
It just keeps cutting in and out a bit, mate.
Hang on, we get the other one. 2 seconds.
Yeah, go on, pal.
We'll have to suss this out once and for all this week. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better, mate. I think it's just that laptop you're on, isn't it? That old one.
Yeah, I'm on this old one. I've got a new one just charging next to me now. I'm going to try and suss it out. You know them Apple ones? I can't figure them out, mate. I nearly put hammer through it. I've had to go back to a different one.
Yeah, well, it'll be all right, won't it? I mean, it sounded great on that Apple, weren't it, of a week? So
Yeah, yeah,
hopefully you can
yeah.
get it
Oh,
sorted.
yeah, fucking brilliant, that one. Right, getting back to RHINO, like, he's cunning like a fox. We saw him when he fought McBedoff. He got it ring at end, grabbed the microphone and said, see, this man here gets a lot of stick, but he's all right. That's the gad. Right, so what he done there, he softened the gad up because he's been around people in boxing all his life. He's been around Dennis Hobson, Furies, Ingalls, a lot of them, Eddie Hills. Softened him up, the gad. Now, if you soften them up, you're all right, aren't you? But what we've got here, an area level guy dictating to talk sport what's going on in boxing. Now, I think it's good, me, because he's telling it straight. But it's took somebody like him who's going to be a patsy eventually if he carries on like that, obviously, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But I think that's good. But once you start playing that Mr. Humble mode, you've got to keep that up, haven't you?
Yeah, they're
You know?
happy for him to do it a minute because he's still relevant in terms of, they want him to stay popular. So every little snippet of Dave telling truth and saying it as it is getting
Yeah.
plastered all over social media.
Yeah.
But when he loses his next fight, he'll be cast aside again, mate, and there'll be no punditry work for him off the zone because he's hammered too many of Eddie's fighters.
Well, what we're going to do, have experts on DAZN who've not won a belt who keep losing. Are they going to be expert analysis for inside?
Sorry,
Right.
mate, that man's you there, mate?
Can you hear me now?
It's just dipping out, mate, a bit. It were
Yeah, I've
all
just
right a
stopped.
minute
Hang
ago.
on, I'm in attic. Let me just shut window again. I'm trying to create a bit of a signal here. Is that better? Is
Talk again, mate.
that better?
Yeah, it's just losing you, mate. That's all. Now and again.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better, mate.
Right, all right. No, I just think that they're not going to have somebody on their zone who keeps turning up for fights, fat as a pig, getting beat, and then spinning fairy stories on YouTube. That's not going to wash for. It's only going to wash for so long, isn't it?
Yeah, correct, mate. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think he could beat TKV.
Uh, TKV possibly if he's fit, but I just don't think Dave throws his hands enough. I think TKV would outwork him. I think Dave would just stand in front of him taking shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him just unloading on him, and I think TKV would get a points victory over Dave. I just don't think there's not enough output there from Alan to win a fight on points. I don't see him stopping TKV because he's a tough kid, isn't he?
Well, you look,
Sorry, mate.
I said he was giving it. You there, mate?
Yeah, just can't hear you, mate. It's just
I
bad
said
signal, isn't
he
it?
was giving. I said he was giving it all that roadman talking. He backed it up.
Yeah, he did. He did back it up, mate. Yeah, I mean, like I say beforehand, I thought he rolled just hot air, and I expected Fraser to run through him, but he backed it up, mate. He's a tough kid, and like I say, he comes from that tough Congolese family, steeped in wrestling history or something like that. His old man were a pro wrestler and that. Yeah, listen, they're tough guys. He's obviously come from good stock, mate, and a lot of people have said what a decent fighter he is from that borough. So yeah, I mean, I don't think he's got much in terms of going past the British level, but fair play to him. Like he fought the right fight and he won well. He won in good fashion.
Yeah, he did, mate. He did. Okay. Usyk, Tyson Fury. People are saying that.
Sorry, mate.
Usyk and Tyson Fury free. Do you think it happens?
I don't know, mate. I'm not sure. It depends on. I mean, they're saying Fury's going to come out and fight next year now. Frank Warren's saying that, but I just don't care, mate. I'm not interested. I'm just fed up of it. I don't want to see that again. The only person I really want to see, there's two people I'd see Usyk with. One's a Tuma when he's ready, and Caballel. And other than that, I'd like him to retire. And then, yeah, who knows, mate? I don't think we might see it, but I don't really want to.
No.
No, not for me. He's beat him comprehensively twice. It's same with AJ. It's like, where's AJ gonna go? We don't want to see him in a third time with Usyk either, do we? So it's
No.
just all roads lead to each other, really. And I think that'll be them done. I don't think he'll fight Usyk again if he gets the AJ fight. But I mean, we've got 2 weeks till he's fighting Jake Paul, and I just don't know where we're at, mate. I've just lost for words, mate. It's just appalling, isn't it? It's terrible.
Yeah. Okay, let's finish on this before I have an afternoon. See if I can fucking suss out how to fucking set this up. You know, when you get a new laptop, you know that Microsoft thing. You have to connect up to all that as well, don't you?
Sorry, mate. You what?
You know, when you get a new computer, you have to type everything in, don't you? You know, like Microsoft, they want to know ins and outs of everything.
Yeah. You'll have to go through all that nonsense. You Google accounts
Daunting,
and
mate.
all
I
that.
keep
Whatever.
looking at it. It's daunting. Right, let's finish off on this then. Big Elmer fights on Saturday against that stiff, right? A light heavyweight stiff in Monaco. If Big Elmer wins, will he call out the RHINO?
Oh, he'll definitely call him out, yeah. And I had a look at the guy's record there, and like you say, you're a light heavyweight. Fisher's not a small heavyweight. He's quite a big, strong guy, so he'll go through him like a dose of salts. But that means absolutely nothing. And I think he calls him out, and I think it will happen in about a year, 18 months time. That.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll get. Listen, Rhino's a bit like David Chisora, isn't it? He just keeps bouncing back again and again, and we think we've seen last of him, and then he turns up again, doesn't he? And he's reinvented himself again, and he just keeps hanging on. So I think Rhino will have a big loss against maybe TKV or someone like that. He'll drop down for about 6 months, and then they'll chuck him in with Fisher.
What you'll see is RHINO boxing till he's 40, mate. So keep us entertained.
Yeah, I think he's got his foot. He's got his foot in promoting now, and he's got his foot in training, and I think he'll always try to subsidise that. We're doing a bit himself because it keeps him out there. It keeps him relevant, doesn't it? It helps him push and promote his own shows and his own lads,
Yeah.
doesn't he? So we'll see what happens with him down that road in future. But who knows, mate?
Okay. Well, listen, I want to get off. I'm going to get all this tech stuff sorted once and for all today. Okay. So listen, you take care. Thanks for coming on, Aaron.
No problem, mate. Good luck with it all. See you later, Russ.
Mate. Right.
Ta-ra, pal.
Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. I do apologise about the connection being loose. We'll get on top of it all today. So we'll have to start writing passwords down and writing what you have to do, because you know when you're thick, you're not fetched up with this kind of thing. It's a bit of a nightmare, but we'll suss it. All right. Go on. Peace out.